Pastor Gallups, what does it mean to be a disciple in today's current state of cultural atrocity?
Jim, thank you so much for having me on your program. Yeah, listen, that question's a good question, and it's asked a lot because we live in very prophetic times. We live in troubling times. And so people ask, what are we supposed to do? How, what is our main objective? How are we supposed to live? Well, listen, the answer to that question is multifaceted, but it's as simple. It starts off with this simple biblical concept. We are here for just a short time anyway, and every generation has had its difficult days in which it's living. Think of the generations in America. Just think of America. Think of the generation of the American Revolution. I mean, those were trying times. That was difficult. Think of the Civil War. 600,000 people we killed of our own brothers and sisters and cousins. Think of the difficult times, the spiritual times of the Civil War. Think of World War I. Think of World War II, the Vietnam War, all the unrest around our nation on campuses and, Kent State and shootings and killings. And so, now we're living in difficult times, but now we're living in extremely prophetic times. I mean, Israel's back in the land. Russia and China are in the Middle East. ISIS is exploding along the Euphrates River, a very prophetic place. Now, Muslim influx into the United States, campus killings, church killings, theater killings, public workplace killings, ISIS attacks, terrorist attacks. So the bottom line is this. This world, Jesus said, you will have tribulation. We're in tribulation. Maybe not the great tribulation period, of eschatology, but we are living in troubling, difficult times. But every generation has to face those times. So what are Christians to do? We are to do what we've been called to do. We've been raised up for such a time as this, Jim. We are to get on with life. The grass has to be mowed. The bills have to be paid. But the future has to be planned for because we don't know the day or the time or the hour. We don't know exactly what tomorrow holds prophetically, but the Lord does. But in the midst of getting on with our life, I also counsel people, the balance to it is the title of my brand new book, Be Thou Prepared. And it's the subtitle is Equipping the Church for Persecution in Times of Trouble. So as we're getting on with our lives, our purpose is to advance the kingdom of Jesus Christ. And so I tell Christians, look, get prepared for tough times. What if civil disobedience came to your neighborhood? What if a terrorist attack came to your neighborhood? What if a Ferguson-style eruption of your community came? What if there was an EMP attack? What if there was a military attack on our nation? What if we do break into World War III? What if the economy does collapse? What if a hurricane or a tornado or whatever area of the nation you're living in or an earthquake devastates your area? I mean, all of these things, Christians and churches and church families need to make rational, reasonable, biblical preparations for these kinds of possibilities. And once that's done, then cautiously get on with life and understand we're living in very prophetic times, but we are here not to see how comfortable we can be, not to see how safe we can be at all times, not to go run and hide under a log in the woods somewhere, but we are here to advance the kingdom of Jesus Christ, to take the gospel to the world, to minister to the world around us. Think of the first century church. Think of the Christians in the first couple of centuries in the Roman Empire. Eventually got to where they were being persecuted by executive order from the emperors, being put to death by the tens of thousands, some of them having to do getting fired from their jobs and losing home and family because of their faith in Jesus Christ. But the church understood, and they made preparations, and they took care of each other, and they went through very difficult times together, but in the midst of it all, they were taking the gospel to the world and turning their world upside down for Jesus Christ. So that's the balanced answer to a very good question you asked, Jim. Does that make sense?
It does. It makes a lot of sense.